All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Chat missing again. I gotta fix this weekend. The chat thing's driving me nuts. It's like, come on, come on, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. Man, I hate when it works. It doesn't work. All right. Uh, here. Yes. No. Maybe. All right. I'm just gonna hit this button. Go. Okay. There we go. All right. All right. Sorry about that. So, today, thus far, seen a little bit of a recovery in the pound yen, but overall, not a ton of movement. You're seeing the euro kind of fighting back a little bit. Euro pound up 27, euro dollar up 46. Again, we had some dollar weakness yesterday, but really it's kind of stabilized itself. Dollar yen, obviously replacing itself, percentage wise being a bigger mover on the board, up about 60. Dollar Swiss, totally flat. Dollar CAD, totally flat. Dollar US, again, technically it's red, but the last hour it's been surging back again. So I mean, percentage wise, euro pound is the biggest mover out there. Thus far, we haven't had too many messages or too many headlines. Um, Biden forgiving another 39 billion in student debt. So it's like, hey, you can take out all these loans, but then hey, don't worry about paying it back. It's like great. So when are we doing the $39 billion of credit card debt? We're just gonna wipe that out next too. So yeah, it's coming. Um, G7 finance chiefs are going to meet July 16th to discuss Ukraine and global taxation. I love the global taxation thing. I think it's great. It's like, how are you going to regulate that? Go ahead, try. More and more countries will just kind of go away. Remember, the G7 is not the biggest player in the world anymore. BRICS actually surpassed them as far as goods, services, production, and again, it just continued to accelerate. So G7, I love it. They want global taxation, but they're not the ones that make the rules. They're not the big player anymore. So it's nice, right, that they can try to enforce that. But I don't know. Maybe they'll just tax the G7 nations. Maybe everybody else will be scot free. Uh huh. Uh huh. Maybe. So yeah. Oh, hold on, I lost it again. God, I keep hitting the button. So yeah. Besides that, nothing really. Again, consumer sentiment will come in. There was the adjustment up to 64 last time. 65 is still fine. It's nothing too crazy. Excuse me. I would just say the inflation expectations. I think those matter. Um, yeah, you know. Hold on. Uh, okay, actually, it's a Fenner one. I'm refing a game at the Navy Academy later, and I messaged a guy earlier. I was like, "Hey, color hats are you wearing? Because I don't have a white hat. If I need a white hat, I need to know that I need a white hat." So I'm like, the guy's like, "Hey, sorry, I switched out yesterday. Sorry I didn't get back to you all week." I'm like, um, hmm, sorry. Already passed it. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So whenever I don't know if you guys have ever, I don't know, it's a different situation. When you ref at the Naval Academy, I guess you're considered like not really a 1099. I forget what it's called. We have to fill out like a special military form because we're actually going on the Naval Academy to actually ref the games. Um, and we have to like authorize special background checks and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy. It's a great experience. It's kind of cool. You're like, yep, Naval Academy stuff. But they were just, of course, it's morning of, and instead of doing it all week, they're scrambling it, today to everybody get their stuff in. Like, make sure you turned it in. I'm like, well, I turned that one form in earlier in the spring, um, but it's like amazing. Like we literally deal with like the top echelon of Navy sports. So like you think at that level of you know that level of institution, and we're like dealing with the top guys. It's kind of crazy. Um, Anyway, I don't really expect too many G20 headlines today. That won't necessarily be earth shattering. The big question is going to be: is can we stabilize ourselves from the drops that we've had? Will we continue to see the movement that we've had in the indices? Excuse me. The yen is heading for its longest rally since 2018. Um, I think today is not going to be a crazy moving day. I think we've had 2 days of strong data. I think obviously G20 is where all the headlines are at. Um, yeah, I mean, nothing today. Tomorrow, I think, is when a lot of the headlines of the G20 will come out. And again, they can tack Russia. They're going to just, smack around, Russia a bit more for the Ukraine. I don't think it's going to make any changes in anything. So, we'll see where it goes. Sunday, again, G20 day three, we'll absolutely have some data. We'll have Chinese data late at night. You'll see the GDP on a quarter over yearly basis, again, showing an increase. Industrial production on a yearly basis down. And then obviously retail sales not as high as they were. And again, this actually may give us a little bit of a reprieve in oil. We've been talking about oil all week, having the ability to go up to that 77 mark and then even potentially even a little higher. But again, any type of bad data in China being less than it was before, um, yeah, yeah, maybe that helps out a little bit on the oil front going into next week. So, but that's what we got over the next couple days over the weekend. And then obviously Monday morning, we start strong with Empire State Manufacturing. It's funny. Normally, this number is not a 0 point number, right? Normally, it's quite large, can go up to 31.6. Never quite seen a zero point 0.2. So we'll see where that one comes in. And again, that's how we start off the week is what the manufacturing index looks like. As well as I'm sure by then we will have G20 headlines that the market will have to react to. So I'm expecting kind of more of a strong kind of open in the morning. Okay. Going across the VIX. So VIX really, really flat. I mean, where we ended the day yesterday, we basically just held in the overnight. Didn't do anything whatsoever. Just kind of held there from European market open till now. Didn't do much. Just literally just flat across, right? Sorry, getting some coffee, but I'm almost out of coffee. Forgot to refill that one before we started. It's gonna be one of those days. But yeah, more or less just flat across. Dollar up 0.01. You can see yesterday we were talking about starting to stumble, and it went down a little bit lower and then kind of came back again. We're still kind of in that area, holding just below 100. And it's interesting. We did have some basing. We have pulled back to it. You may wonder, are we in a short area right now? And I would say, at this point, we have so much extension. I mean, you can see the initial push we got on Wednesday was a big push, right? And then yesterday we got a little push, and it did deteriorate. It continued to grind down, and then once the Europeans stepped in, they kind of started to support it and bring it back again. So, you know, I wouldn't say as much, right? If you look to see 24-hour moves, like there's 8:30 down to 8:30, and that was our first day worth of movement. Our second day worth of movement, if we take it from, I guess, from the top down to where we are at 8:30 today, 8:30 is right there. You can see a much different, not only angle, but also, again, length. So, I think a lot of the steam in the dollar destruction right now is out. I'm not really necessarily against seeing a 100 be kind of a bottom. Um, Hold on. Unless it just messed with me. Sorry. Um, okay. So I think this is a very good place that we're at right now. Obviously, we had massive craziness, all the way up here in the 104s. So we're kind of back where we're supposed to be. We'll see what's going to happen. Like I said, I think we start getting some headlines about what's coming next with the Fed. A raise, two raises, no raises. That really starts to dictate this. And remember, historically, the dollar index is typically around 95, right? It never normally goes above 100. It's like crazy when we get to that level. So I think that kind of makes sense. Um, Indices right now, you see Russell is down. And again, that's why I'm also thinking that, hey, listen, we may find a bottom. If Russell is looking that negative, they're kind of looking ahead. And again, they may be looking at manufacturing. Not as strong as it has been over the last couple of days. All the other indices are more or less where they, zero point 0.2, zero point 0.4, zero point 0.4, and then obviously down 0.5% in the Russell. So we'll see where we go with that one. Apple and Tesla are both up just slightly. Oil is down, 0.75%. But again, we did have a raise back up again. It did go higher. It's still at 76.30. Again, when we talk about where that one was going, we'll mention it later that, hey, listen, we're just one day, one surge. And we talked about 77.22. And we've been talking about this for the last, I don't know, week, basically. We ended up hitting last night about 4 o'clock before it turned and rolled back down again. Natural gas is up, but again, 257, not too bad. Gold basically flat, still holding around that 250. I'm sorry, the 1960 mark. Silver, up again, is sitting there and hiding right under the 95 mark. I'm sorry, not 95, the 25 mark. And we mentioned it yesterday that there's not a whole lot holding that back from 25 right now, and it's up there. We'll see. Does it deserve to be there? I feel like it's starting to get a bit more again, it was divergent yesterday. I feel like it's going to be a bit more divergent. Yeah, I don't know. It's just looking at it, it's kind of like, you know, these two are very, very different, right? Um, Hold on one sec. Yes, Mark. um, Aussie dollar. All right. So yesterday we were sitting in here and we talked about, hey, listen, we're probably at somewhat of a peak. We need some type of a confirmation. You can see we got it. We got it here. We came back up again, and all of a sudden we started to fail. Right. We hit the zone again. 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 And then bam, we're starting to collapse and roll back down. We did have a little Harry Potter trade, and I'm okay with this right now. I think this is in a good spot. Got about 80 pips, got a daily ATR of 72. Again, is it flying off that zone? Not really, right? We talked about, again, the chop again hit high, came back high, 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 and you can see if I bring this across, it's really kind of using that basing level there. Um, I would say right now, again, you're starting to see the market stabilize the dollar and start to bring some strength. We haven't even really talked about any type of raises. Now, I will say, I posted the news in Discord yesterday. Bullard is actually stepping away. I was under the assumption that he was going to be the next Fed governor. He'd been there long enough, still somewhat of a young guy, maybe a little hawkish, but he seemed like he had his finger on the pulse really well as what needed to be done. And then like 2, 3 months later, everyone was like, "Yeah, we need to do that." He always had it a little bit more correct. He, I guess, is stepping aside and actually is going to teach at the University of Purdue. I guess he probably got paid bank for it. I'm wondering if they said, "Hey, listen, you're not gonna, we can't make you the next one," right? And I wonder if he was just kind of so annoyed by that whole thing that he was kind of like, you know what, fine. If I'm the most tenured there, and if you're not going to follow what I have to say, then okay, I'll step aside. I'll go do something else. But I'm sure he's probably getting paid bank. I'm sure. I'm sure Purdue paid him quite well. He'll be able to do books, tours, all that kind of fun stuff as well. Make even more money. So, yeah. But I really thought that he was going to take over next. So, kind of surprised. Now I'm kind of like, I wonder who takes it over next. Again, they were bringing Bernard in, and I'm wondering if it's kind of like, well, she's going to take over. I mean, she said nothing in like the last 6 months. It's like, how do you take over with absolutely zero leadership? Again, I think it's an extremely poor decision if that's the direction we're going in. At this point, I'm going full team Daly, right? I want Daly to take over at this point, be the next one in charge. I haven't really liked Bernard from the very beginning. I think again, I think she was a political person. Again, Daly gets my vote. Send Daly in. But yeah, so we will see. You know, I think this one continues to deteriorate. Unfortunately, there's no nice reversals in here. We do have a Harry Potter lower. This is one we keep on the radar. And again, I'd love for this one to step in on Sunday night, and I've got to get something on this one. Maybe even a Monday morning as we continue a bit lower. But it does have a day's worth of movement. It is Friday. We were on a steam. So again, look for this to continue. This push back down. Okay. Aussie yen. All right. So Aussie yen. Yesterday we talked about 95. We got so close at 10:30. We're like, oh god, just go a little bit farther. Missed it by 3 pips. Missed it by 3 pips, and it drove all the way back down. It's like, oh man. And we're there right now. Again, we're seeing Aussie dollar weakness, so Aussie yen weakness is also kind of rolling in. We just hit it again. It's unfortunate though. That was such a great move all the way back up again. We were looking for that reversal, but you actually have to count that one. Again, there's 1 hit here, 2 hits here, 3 hits here. We're kind of there right now. Again, on Friday, it's not as good of a move. It was much better yesterday. Again, I still think it's a pretty decent level. It is backslapped by the 61.8. But again, we talked about it yesterday, and really, ideally, that's the one we were looking for. Missing by 3 stinks. But at this point, I mean, even today, you've kind of hit that level and rolled about 30 pips down. Big question is, are we going to continue to move? We do have all these buyers here, and then those buyers continue into this level. So there'll be people drawing this as a trend line, and if we can break through the bottom of it, people say trend is broken and we'll push back down. And I would assume we end up probably over here at 94.72. Not as clean as what we're seeing on the other side. All right. Euro dollar. So yesterday, same thing. We were kind of sitting right in here, and we said, "Hey, listen, we're not quite at a top. We're looking for a top. Kind of the same spot, right? Kind of looks very similar." And we did get a red, green, red finally up here. You could say that, hey, listen, there's a level of basing. We're sitting there. U.S. session is rolling in right now. Again, kind of the same thinking. Euro is actually doing quite well again versus the pound. You're seeing that it's up as well. So, right now I would say we don't necessarily have any type of euro weakness kind of influence. Um, we kind of need that influence in there, right? Um, yeah, we just don't have it yet. So again, right now I'd say more leaning towards bearish. Is there a great zone here? Not really. You can see it's really been chopping back, and in 24 hours, it's moved, you know, 40 pips. So I mean, it's okay, right? But you're seeing the strength over here, so it's all right. I don't know. I kind of like it rolling in the next week. I think we've been so bearish on the dollar at this point. I think rolling into next week, again, when they're talking about what the next raise looks like, I think again, the dollar stabilizes itself a bit more. So, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. So I'd like to find basically going into Sunday night. If you want to mark Sunday night off, that's a decent path. Friday, Sunday's right there. Right, Sunday's right there. So depending on if we're sitting in the base or we form a new base sometime today, kind of like this for a roll back down again. See a little dollar strength roll back into these markets. Okay. Euro pound. So euro pound, we're moving back up again, and we said yesterday we expected to kind of run very, very choppy, back and forth, back and forth. You're seeing quite decent sized candles. I mean, even late last night, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and literally back and forth. And it is creeping higher, but we do know that we are pushing back in. And whoops, I want to move that one. Easy to see. We got all these sellers coming in. If we move these guys across, they're sitting right there. We're getting really, really close to it. So will this continue and then profit taking step in? I feel like it is. As far as the trade setups go on this one, remember, this one is one of those ones that's skewed a little bit. It looks like it's big because I'm stretching it out visually, but the reality is this has been like a 20 pip mover in the last 24 hours. It hasn't been anything. Um, it's not like 80 pips. Like you would, if this was any other chart, you'd be like, oh my God, that's moved a bunch. From bottom to top right now, this is 27. This is 30 pips right here. Right there's 30 pips. So it looks like it's moving a lot. It really should be scaled more like that. It's very slow, not very big moving. You can see again in 24 hours, it's moved 22 pips. It's starting to tick back. So not even a pip an hour. So very, very slow. But we do have an area where we have, again, we're looking for euro weakness. We have euro pound coming up to areas with sellers. So it's moving to the right area. It's moving where we want it to go. And I think that a flip is due, particularly as we roll over into probably as we roll into Sunday. I you know I think there's still enough contagions in the European Union that we could have again some continued movement to the downside, or some I guess a new trend to the downside. Okay. All right. Okay. Euro yen. All right, so euro yen also reaching higher. You can see we had a little bit of a kickback at the 50. We're sitting at 61.8. We mentioned, hey, listen, there's a round number right here. That's kind of where we're at right now. I mentioned it. Hey, listen, it's all right. It's there. It's kind of right in the middle. That's where we're kind of hitting right now as we roll into the U.S. session. So it's kind of there. Again, there's a zone right here for people that are trading 61.8s. Again, there is a level of basing. It pulled back based in one candle and then shot back down again. So we're in extreme close proximity to this one. I mean, it's only about 15, 16 pips away. It's already starting to pull back at this other minor level right at the 156 flat. So, again, same fundamental thinking. Three different charts. The euro seems to be rising right towards sellers in all three of those things. When you see that, you tend to have that, kind of triple witching there where, it's a sell on three different charts, tends to be a sell overall. So, yeah, just keep that on your radar. As far as where sells are, I don't actually mind this one. It's about 15 pips, right? Again, European market has got about 2 hours left in it. The yen will have a proxy play today. Do we want to continue rolling with the yen higher? Again, I feel like it's a down draw. There's a down draw coming. Not a huge one, even just a pullback. We can play that. Question is, will we get some help from the yen? I don't know. That's questionable. There's comments. Every morning there's another comment about this one, whether it be good or bad. So, um, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. So yeah, I do like it. If it turns and reverses from there, yeah, it's a level we pointed out yesterday. Again, the high went to, and it's funny. We said, hey, listen, you're going to see sellers around 156 right now. The high for the day is 156.022. So 2.2 pips past where we said those sellers would be. But yeah, and again at 10:30, I think it's important to note on this one as well. This one started its day right here, that 2:30 open, kind of European open. It's been really straight up. So if it pulls back down a little bit, all that is going to be is profit taking. It's not necessarily a change in the fundamentals. Pound dollar. All right, so we're looking for our base, right? Still good with this one. We ended up going up, down, up, down, up, down, chopped. Came down to it again. It's like, we're kind of forming another little Harry Potter trade here, right? Another level of basing, and we hit it. We bounce. We hit it. We bounce. We hit it. We bounced again. It's like, Now, this one doesn't quite have a 1 to 3 down. Again, we're looking for, in the greater scheme of things, this is what we're looking for: a push up and a push back down again. We're just looking for the reversal. And it's funny. We do that peak and it's kind of sitting there now. Question is, are we in the same spot? Do we have enough oomph in this one to kind of push it any higher? I don't really know. Again, if the dollar is coming in strong here, we're just basing and kind of chopping, going sideways. In 24 hours, it's moved 18 pips, right? It's got a daily ATR of 97, and it's not even moving 1 pip right now. So where we are, again, are we peaking out? Are we going to see dollar strength roll back in again? This Harry Potter, I think, is still live. We haven't busted it yet. Love that. Right now, distance-wise, it's about 84. So could we trickle down? Sure. In Sunday night, could we get into this one and then continue forward? Yeah, I think so. It's probably not going to hit today. And I would say right now, kind of the tops and bottoms I'm looking at is here and here. I don't see it really breaking through either of these, and we're kind of skirting down the middle. It's got some selling pressure here. I think right now, unless there's a big spike because somebody says something, I think this one is going to be more something we look at on Sunday, right? On Sunday. And again, I still think I like the little Harry Potter in the pullback with maybe a push higher. But right now, I think, again, with getting a little bit exhausted here, maybe we get the opportunity to go a little higher. But I still think, again, keep this on your radar. This is a good one for me. Probably Sunday, Monday time frame. Okay. Pound yen. All right. So pound yen. So we had a level 1, 2, kind of started getting front run, hit it 3, and now 4, we're kind of basing through it. We really talked about this was really an aggressive entry, but with 2 hits and this one being higher, we expected it to push even deeper. And in fact, the green here kind of hit it and pulled back down again, and then made another forceful attempt. So it did what it's supposed to do. It held, and now it's broken through. So you really got to kind of take it off at this point. We can run fibs up and look to see where pullbacks would be. And you can see, now there's a little bit of a pullback there. I think the next level, and we pointed this one out yesterday, is probably sitting up here. We're a little close to it. I wouldn't be opposed to this one. It would be nice to get some yen strength rolling back in the market. Some yen strength coming back in, throws that euro yen down, pulls this one back down again, and pulls the dollar yen down. So it's kind of a triple witching. Kind of a triple witching, but on the other side of things, right? That triple witching is, again, happening with the yen, which is the yen as good for triple witching? No, it's not as good as something like the euro. Again, the yen always tends to be the weak, more of a kind of a counter currency, something you want to trade against, not for. So, yeah, not as strong. What? Okay, sorry. Kip is making a bunch of noise. I was like, oh god, what's he doing? Just making sure Melissa wasn't on a call. If I needed to open the door, I was going to open the door and let him rush in. But I think he's good. He's chasing sister around. Yeah, she turned into like super babysitter yesterday. As non-helpful as she was in the morning, she did much better through the day. He was trying to take a nap, and she brought him like 27 different stuffed animals. It was pretty cute. Funny, but cute. All right, so yeah, I think 182, 57, or 52. Again, potential reversal there. All right. So we were looking for a Harry Potter in this dollar CAD. We're looking for the drop a bit more, and it kind of gave us a pullback. It's kind of there. I would say as far as finding a base goes, it gave us an all right base and then kind of came through and just stabilized. Didn't really do much and then pushed down again, which kind of, I think on this one, we really needed to adjust it to there, right? And again, it went all the way down. With all the basing in here, I didn't really like the move as much. if you try to get in it this morning, um, you probably got stopped out of break even, right? As it drove, it pushed all the way up, and then when it came back through, your sell was here, and again, probably got stopped out here, and to hit it again, you're like, oh god, it's forming buyers. So if you held it, you held it. It was tiny. If you did, it was like a 10 pip loser if you were trying to get into it. Um, but unfortunately, the way that it did its entry, no entry here, no entry here, and then when it came down in base, you're like, I'm gonna have to go with this higher time frame, that old level. So, or I'm sorry, the higher price level. So, unfortunately, not as super clean as we wanted. Right now, I would say, we're seeing a little dollar surge. I'm gonna take this level off just to clean it up. I think the big thing with this one is, am I worried about this? Yeah, it was a nice little drop. It was strong, but if you look at the wicks, it's a mirror top. They're at the exact same spot. Not the cleanest of entries, right? Do I want to see a roll here? Nah, I really think the dollar needs to be closer up to 132. So, right now I'm kind of pro dollar. I'd like it to go higher. I think CAD has gotten enough help from oil lately. I think we need to push back up. There is definitely a lot of basing here, and I think a level to watch out for, particularly on Sunday night, would be sitting right up here. You could say there's a test there or the test there, but I think this is going to be a big spot. This 131.87. Let me check notes. Yeah, right there. I was like, wait, why is it giving me that? Right there. I think if we have a potential gap into this, now let's see. We do have about 44 pips worth of movement to go. If we're unable to get up there today, like if we open there or we gap up into that level, I think this has potential for Sunday night. Maybe we don't gap into it and maybe we run up to it in Sunday night. I think this could if we're going to see dollar weakness next week, early next week, this is I think one of the trades that we would take it in, right? Um 132 will provide a nice little level. There is some basing in there. There is a confirmation. There is a nice push off of it. We're surging right now, and the question is the bottom put in the dollar, or we continue to move? I think the 23.6 is going to give us a hiccup today, so that's why I'm saying it's more of a Sunday night trade for me. But I like how it based, and then kind of confirmed here, and then did this little pop up, and then just drop, and then it was a true turning point. So I like it. I like it. But as far as what we traded with it today, um, maybe a little bit harder. But we can actually put a bottom in now. We do have a green, red, green down below. And, I think it's easy to say that, listen, this is probably the top and the bottom in the near term. And maybe same thing. Maybe we turn and start to roll back down again. And then maybe this is a Sunday night open. So, again, no crystal ball. I don't know if we're going up or going down. There are sellers here, so it's going to be a little bit harder of a run to the top side. But depending on what happens on Saturday with G20, any of the headlines, again, G20 is a big deal, right? If we get a pop up or pop down, I think either of these two could be nice turning points. But as far as today, probably not as many options in this one. Okay. Dollar Swiss. So Dollar Swiss basically just died on us yesterday. So here's 10:30 yesterday, that 10 o'clock candle. Yeah, it just basically it stopped. So I mean, it is up. Dollar strength is coming back in, and we said, hey, we're really looking for a nice little bottom to put in, a little fairly to go lower. It'd be nice. Right now, when you run this down, you can see, look at this. We got some basing sitting right there, and it just happens to be sitting there with a little confirmation right at 23.6. So I think for today, again, if we're gonna roll back into that dollar weakness, like if this is just, hey, we got to get some profit in this one. Got about what 50 pips. It's got a 71 pip ATR. I don't know if it's going to be a today thing, but if we're gonna play that Sunday night kind of, hey, listen, dollar ended strong on Friday, but that's it. We're going back to weak dollar as usual. And again, I don't know. Bullard's in there for a little bit longer, but he's reclusing himself from all the decisions now. Like he's not talking publicly anymore. I don't know. Are we losing one of the hawkish voices? Are we losing one of the hawkish voices? Um, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe when they announce the successor. I don't think they have yet, but maybe when they announce the successor, as long as it's a person that's a little bit more hawkish, we start to see that rally. But I think right now, again, also one of those positions where we could have again, running up through the day, opening Sunday night could be a first thing, European session short until the U.S. trader steps online. So yeah, I don't think the risk on this one is that big either. Let me see. a little bit much, a little bit much for this pair. And you can see it only needs to roll back to there. It's not even going back down to lows. So, uh, dollar yen. So dollar yen yesterday. Let's see. Let's move this down a little bit. You can see we're playing with the 23. There's nothing over here right now, so not super concerned. Yesterday we marked it off. I think 139.60. Same thing. If we can rally up just a little bit more, again, euro yen need to go a little bit more. Pound yen need to move a little bit more. A dollar yen a little bit more. Just need a little bit more in all these pairs, and then it's kind of set up. I don't know. And we've obviously pulled way back. But remember, when we hit 130 in the dollar yen, it was like, oh God, this is bad. 135, it's like, oh my God, this is crushing the economy. And then yet we were magically in 52 weeks, we were up to 152, 150, 151.94, right? So not quite 152. And now we're all the way back down to 139. So I think we got some room to run. You can see that again, this is kind of in the middle of nowhere. There is now a zone both at the 50 and the 61.8 old levels that we drew. So again, like to see this surge up a little bit more. And maybe it's the same thing. Maybe we surge just a little bit farther, and maybe this becomes a Sunday night trade, short dollar trade. Again, with G20, we can get some assistance probably. There'll be some headlines. Again, hopefully they are decent headlines, good headlines. Um, Again, the global taxation thing, we'll see. I think it's great in theory, but you know, the global taxation thing kind of was a way to go after China, right? It was a way to go after China. The reality of the whole thing, though, yes, you could tax China, but then China can also provide subsidies back to Chinese companies. So, yes, the companies would have to pay more, and I guess that there would be, a tax established, but would it still be fair? Not really. So, there is ways around this global taxation, and I think the idea is great, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna have the desired effect that they think it's going to have. Right. So yeah. But anyway, nice. I would look. I love. I think a little pop would be great. Maybe this could be even potentially. How far are we? I think we're like 50, right? Yeah, 50. It's got a 4 hour ATR of 57. If we cannot pull back now at this 10:30 time frame, if we can go up and hit this at 1 o'clock, this could potentially be a trade for this afternoon as well. So yeah, it's there. I feel like they changed the font. They changed the font. Funny. Bitcoin is red, but yet we're down at that 31, right? Looks like there was a little bit of a surge in that one. TLT also red, down at 101.50 again. Again, sitting up high. Let's look at this oil trade. So we talked about 77.22 being a sell point, and you can see we kind of jammed right up into there at 4 o'clock yesterday. You can see there was this big surge at 2 in the afternoon. We drove right up to it, and at this point, again, we are absolutely out. I mean, there's your risk level that we put at 77.22, and 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So we just got out recently. We're back in an area, this old level, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. We broke through. We used it as a base. It's coming there right now. Probably provide some stabilization. So I mean, nice little trade. Again, you would have got in it right at the close yesterday, 4 or 5 o'clock, and then held it in the overnight, which I know some people don't like to do, but it's officially out. But the creepy thing about this one is we we mentioned once we get past this 77, we have 78, or we have 78 just sitting right above this looming. Now that we've hit it, we didn't explode out of there, right? It was kind of a slower retrace. I think if we can start finding a new bottom, that's where we surge higher. So I'm glad that it pulled back before the weekend. Again, it's something that we called for 4 days, something like that. So it's nice to see it pulling back again. I do think it won't go much lower. I think there's buyers sitting down here, right? I think there's buyers sitting right there. I think there's buyers also. There's going to be a struggle getting through here. So we have some levels, right? We got some levels that we need to be cautious with. Um, yeah, I have to message the one guy. Actually, the one guy I'm refing with, I ref with a bunch. He's a really cool guy. I like John a lot. So yeah, I think we got some hiccups, but for me, hey, I would love to be wrong. I'd love to wake up Monday morning and see this all the way back down at 70. So not gonna lie, I'm good with that. I will be the first one to admit that. Hey, you know what? These sellers didn't exist. These sellers, they didn't exist. These sellers right here didn't exist. I mean, there is a Harry Potter here. So, I mean, we did talk about this, but it was going to be a while. So we took it off. There is a Harry Potter, and that brings us back down to 73. But hopefully, I am totally wrong. And you guys are allowed to tell me I have no idea what I'm talking about. And Monday morning when we talk, oil is at $7. I mean, how cool would that be? I will gladly fess up that I just had no idea, right? If I could be that wrong. But obviously the 77.22, you guys can see we're targeted. It's there. It's lower. I just think we're going to have some problems on the downside now at this point. All right. Natural gas. So again, big drop. We talked about some hiccuping. You can see it right here. We were hiccuping back and forth, looking for a bottom. We never really got the pullback that we wanted. It went much higher, but we were talking about it. We knew that we were going to have buyers stepping in right down here, and you can see 254. There you go. We tagged it twice before popping up again. Natural gas right now, I think fundamentally is more of a short. It's funny. 40 minutes ago, natural gas rises as hot weather continues to support cooling demands. And since that article has come out 1 hour ago, it's done nothing but come straight back down again. So, yeah, I love when they have those articles. I think the temperatures are starting to wane. I don't know. It was like 96 here yesterday was a high, and then today it's only supposed to be 85. It's supposed to be dropping lower. Yeah, I'm ready for fall. I told everybody, I'm like, you know, I know it's summer. You should be excited for summer, but like, I'm ready for fall. It's been like oppressive. We've had all like the wildfires, the smoke, and then like 100% humidity on the East Coast. It's just, ugh. It's been a gross summer. It hasn't even been fun to be outside. So I'm ready for like leaves changing. I know, like, you know, we're literally like the very beginning. We're halfway through July, and I'm like, yep, I'm ready for September, October weather. Give it to me. Change it. Give me those, 50-degree nights. I'm happy. So yeah. So again, buyers, I don't think we're able to bust through the 252 today. We'll see when we start getting some. Again, a lot of talk about this. The support cooling demand. Ernest, I guess you said it was the real temperature was 102, but the real feel was 112. I think is what you said in Discord. And yeah, been to Texas. Know what that feels like. Where you're like, oh, it's actually 101, but it feels like 115, and yet it's 115. Um, yeah, love that one. Yeah, it's like, hey, we have 10. It's like the same thing, like wind chill, right? I love wind chill. Hey guys, guess what? It's only 37 degrees. You can practice, and then you look at the real feel with wind chill is 17 degrees, and you're like, yo, it's 17 degrees outside. We're getting frostbite, even though it's above freezing. We're getting frostbite because of the wind, right? The wind chill. So yeah, I love that one. County's not closing fields down. It's 38 degrees. It's like, yeah, but the wind chill makes it 17. Like, nope, done. Can't feel my fingers. I'm out. So yeah, look for this one to come down. Gold. So gold. Love where we are with gold. Think this is great. I was saying yesterday, I was like, I hope we really don't mess this one up. I hope we don't push through, and we didn't. We just held and maintained. Obviously, there was a little high put in here. And you can see that this red, green, red, little confirmation right there. And we touched it this morning, 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. We hit it, and now it drove. So there was actually a trade that you could have got short this morning from U.S. News Time coming out. Again, we're talking about this racetrack. We just kind of sliced through and pulled up back up. I kind of want this one not to trigger today. I'm kind of hoping that it's like, but I feel like at this point, I feel like it's going to. Again, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and it finally broke through. So, yeah, I think we're good here. Yeah, I think we're good. I like it. I'm glad where we are right now. I kind of want it to kind of come up here, but again, breaking through. Once we get a drop, a base through, and a pullback, 152.70 is where this trigger needs to be pulled. Once we stabilize and pull back up to it, coming down to 1942. Overall, again, I'd like to see us get back down to the 1937 next week. But again, holding very, very high like this on that cliff, we're waiting for that dollar strength to come back in. And remember, if we're not raising the dollar, it means inflation's not a problem anymore, right? And then we're going to hold it here to continue killing it. But if we're going to continue to raise because there's not enough, again, the story is going to be dollar strength. Again, anti-inflation. That's a gold short type trade. So that's what we're waiting for. Silver. Now, silver, unfortunately, we did kind of hold in this morning. We're popping up, and it made it to 25.010. So again, we talked about 25. We knew there'd be an area. I was like, listen, I don't know if it's going to be here. I don't know if it's going to be like this, right? Maybe it'll be on this side. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I know around 25. Again, not only is it a whole double zero number, the 25 is also a quarter. So it is an absolutely huge psychological level for human beings in general, right? The whole quarters theory, we like things that make sense and that complete. A quarter or a half are always a big deal, right? And that's how we function. Like a quarter of an hour. Melissa's like, I've never heard that before. I was like, really? I was like, quarter after, quarter of. You've never heard that before? And it's not 25, obviously, it's 15, but we still use that quarter thing because it feels natural to us. So where we are, I'd say again, looking to get short silver. Silver was up a little bit more. It's barely hanging on right now, and gold is turning red. So there are Harry Potter trades in this one as well. Again, you could make a call and say, hey, listen, we keep bouncing off this level. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. We really start the base in there. I think it's a good spot, but I do at this point think, again, using that 25, we should already be short to the downside. So it's kind of there, right? Kind of there already. I don't know why. It's weird. Had another pop up. One of the other refs is like, "Oh yeah, I'm not. I pulled off. I'm not doing the thing today." I'm like, "Yes, I know. I saw." Um, got an Apple. Apple having a good day. Apple having a good day. We'll find some sellers. It's got some room to run. I think Apple's got room to run up to 192. So we got Apple looks like it could have a pretty good Friday. Tesla playing around a little bit. Nice little pop. Pull back down. You guys look to the left. You can see that we got a little bit over here. Right, a little bit to go. I'd say probably the gap's probably up there. It's been there before, so Tesla's got a little bit more room to run overall. Let's drop it down to a 15 and let's go back to the indices. And they've moved a little bit, right? VIX popping a little bit, dollar popping a little bit as well. Again, getting a little bit of assistance. 10, 9:45. So there's a weird one. You could say, listen, there's a position put in at 7:30, and we pulled up and we touched it at 8:15. 9:30 is right here. Um, there could have been a case made on that when we did have a base. It did punch through the base. It came up and then pushed back down and confirmed it. So I would say this is a sloppy entry. Again, you tend not to want that many candles in there, but that's where the confirmation was coming in at. Um, it's a sloppy, but it is an entry. I mean, again, you have this like little spike at 10 o'clock coming back down again. So it's there. It's probably out right now. It's probably really close. Or really close to hitting it. 2.56. 3 is right there. So haven't quite hit it yet. It's really, really close. Could you have taken this one? Sure. Again, I think it was a little bit of a sloppy entry, but it was there. I mean, there was something in there. Just not the ideal, not the story textbook entry for it, but yeah, it was an entry. NQ 9:15. Unfortunately, on this one, if you take yeah, it looks like your 9:15, your 9:30s here. Yeah, unfortunately, this one probably you just missed. It did pull back at 9 and 9:15, but there's where your confirmed level would have been, and you can see it's not there. You know, crappy when that happens. I agree with the long on this one, and you can see it's an amazing long base trade. Again, you weren't worried about the top side. There was your base and hit it, hit it, hit it. It was not, and really this is 1, 2, 3, 4. It should have broken through the top. It did. And again, really, really, really nice runner. But again, you didn't get the pullback on. You missed the pullback by just a smidge, right? Just a smidge. Um, Again, always a little unfortunate when that happens. YM. Wait, what's YM doing? 9:30. Problem with YM is we were sitting in a level. You can see this 9, 9:15, 9:30. So yesterday we said that listen, we're going to have sellers up here, and you can see we started the base in there early. We hit it, and now we're kind of set up. I would say YM to me, although it's not the weakest, and it's kind of not the second. Yes, is by a little bit. This thing starts to turn negative, which again, right now, we have a push. We had a push up, push down, and then the green did not go as high. We kind of have a fair to go higher. This one is kind of set up that as soon as we break here, people are going to see this. Support and resistance traders. It starts breaking through this level, 34,707. You're going to have a lot of retail traders out there shorting the heck out of this thing. They're going to look at it and be like, hey, you know what? know what? Support and resistance, baby, right? There's your support. Oh my God, we broke support. And what do they do? Immediately start selling it. And that could help accelerate this to the downside. And again, it's 10:20. So, I mean, we missed I guess the open was kind of the high for the day, but I wouldn't be surprised if this rolls back down again and, um, you know, ends up down here, 34,563. And again, if the dollar's going to start strengthening, let's see, is there any headlines? Did we get some headlines? Has it peaked? Yeah, I mean, look, that's much higher than expected. And look, actually, look, the inflation expectation is rising, rising. So, yeah, this one. Of course, there is. There's a path to curb inflation without recession. Weaker inflation data show Fed is making progress. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt. The question is, do you want to keep it entrenched? Right? I mean, the UK even said it. It's working, but letting inflation stay longer is more harmful than the effects of short-term interest rate rises. So they said it. What is this one? Does it say anything beneficial? No, not really. Just an opinion article. So yeah, it's there. So yeah, I feel like if this starts breaking through, you're going to start getting some sellers heaping into this sucker, taking some profit back to the downside. So watch out for 34,561. As far as opening print goes, it's sitting right here. Again, you're not in an. If anything, you were in more of a seller area at 930 ish. 930 sitting here in this level. And again, if it breaks through the bottom, is where you'd pull the trigger on that one. So Russell, yeah, tell me inflation's done. Not so much, right? So yeah, 930. I mean, same thing. Again, it's been there twice, not super clean. Nice little push off there. It was formed 4 o'clock yesterday, 8:45, 9 o'clock. You were sitting there. So, is there a level? Yeah. Does it meet opening print? Nah, it wasn't really confirmed. The confirmation would have came in at 8:45. We're kind of looking for a little bit earlier than that. But is it an area where sellers were stepping in the past? Yeah. And then 9:15 is right here. And then what happened with 9:30 went all the way down and smashed into this level. So, kind of the same thinking. We talked about it being an area where we expected it to go, and there's your one, there's your two, there's your three, and we're starting the base. Looks like we have the ability to go lower. So I don't know. Our eyes all looking forward to next week. Are they saying, "Oh, you know what? The Fed's going to raise." Other people are doing it. We've smashed the dollar for 2 days. We should see a reversal. Let's see what is the dollar doing now. Dollars again. 1, 2, 3. This is hit number 4. We should be able to start to grind a little higher to find buyers. So yeah, I mean, it's there. We'll see. Again, the basing here, exactly what you would expect with this, right? This little peak is right below, so there's absolutely buyers. But if we form a base here, you know, I don't know. Maybe we can pull Feel Good Friday and shoot back up again. But I think with the base forming right now, as we start to pull lower, you know, for overall market sake, yeah, it would be nice if we could rally back up again. It'd be nice to say all three indices were closing green for the weekend. Again, we've been on a little bit of a trend lately. Why not keep it, right? Go into the weekend happy. Right now, those small businesses, though, are not liking this one. And some of this is also to do with PPI, just so you guys know, right? If it costs more to make money, that affects small businesses a lot more than big business. So, not surprising. Not surprising that it's basing and chopping too because of this right here, this little bit. So, yeah, overall, not a bad day. Um, 76 is awesome. Like I said, maybe Monday, I'll be like, you know what, guys? I had no idea what I was talking about. Oil. Sorry, I didn't tell you it was going to go to 70. But again, nailed the top of that one. That's 77.22. So, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do the drawing for today. What have we got in here? I know Ernest is here. He's not in right now. So, I'm going to take this one at 2:30. So, he has 30 seconds to be able to get in here on time. There he goes. All right, he's got 27 more seconds. Right? Trying to snake it at the end. Now, it's day number 2. It is win number 2 for Ernest today. So, again, Ernest is going big. Neuro's got that magic number 4. I'm telling you, something about 4. He's won a couple of these now in the last, 2-3 weeks. Ernest has gone 10, and Neuro's only needed 4 to stop him. So I don't know. Maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe there's some secret sauce in that 4. Maybe. Don't know. All right. I said 2:30. I did 2:30. Winner of today's drawing is. Oh, Ernest took it. What did he have? Almost 60% chance. He had it. He went in big today, taking it. He was the big bully. So again, Ernest needs Monday really, really bad, right? Because he took it yesterday with big tickets. Was like minus 70. Today he gets, again, 100, but he's basically break even. He's like, of course he won. Congrats. Yeah, I mean he had percentages. I mean, we can say that, Debbie, but again, Ernest doesn't make money. Remember, he's not in the green unless he wins day three, right? Technically, he's just minus a little bit. Day three is what propels him towards the green. So Ernest is playing it like a casino, right? He's trying to remove luck and try to stack the percentages in his side. But at the same time, you don't win all 3 days, Again, the percentages are there. So yeah, it is a way. We'll see long term. All right. So with that, I'm out of here. You guys have an awesome weekend. Hopefully you guys stay cool. Again, eventually I'll tell you guys that, hey, listen, stay warm. But right now, stay cool, be safe, have fun, and I'll see you guys Monday morning. You guys take care. By the way, obviously not a jury due today. I found out Fridays is for grand juries, and I was just on a regular jury. So dodged the bullet this week. So I'm good till next year, 2 years, whatever it is. So anyway, I'm out. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Take care.